All right, guys. Welcome to my three viewers. I hope we can double that. Let's go. Please share on social media, share on Twitter. Today we are talking with Alexandre Loris about HEX. Um, he joined a few seconds ago, but he might have some internet connection problems. But I don't want anyone waiting. So, welcome. Um, Hex price is down to zero point zero 0.03. On the one side, this is horrible because we're down like way too much. On the other side, it's great because we can buy cheap and strong hands can accumulate. Love me that 90% dip that probably will never end. No, it will end at some point in the future. All right, until Alexandre comes back, let's take a look at the markets for a second. We have HEX, which is under my random line. It's just damn those stupid ads. It will go down. It will probably die and never come back. And still, we will get paid in the meantime. HEX is a smart contract, and it is on the Ethereum chain. So it's just a regular ERC20 coin. Well, let's look what Bitcoin is still over 20K. And I thought about Bitcoin, and the thing is, Richard said that the bottom of Bitcoin will be at what, 10, 11K? But then it's like the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust is giving like 30% discount. So which bottom does maybe Bitcoin will never reach 11K on, let's say, the official charts, because on the Grayscale it is already down 30%. Okay, here's Alexandre. Let's add him to the stream. Hello, Alexandre. How are you?
Good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Awesome. Sorry for starting without you. It was wanted to lose my three viewers.
Yes. No problem. Yeah.
Okay, nice to have you. Why don't we start with a little introduction of yourself? I don't know that much about you, so maybe you could tell us who you are. Since when are you in crypto? What exactly are you doing? Just a introduction, so the viewers know who you are.
Thank you. Appreciate it, my friend. Good meeting you recently. So I've been in stocks, kind of investing and trading since 2016, and crypto since 2017. I could describe my style as more conservative, which sounds kind of funny for someone who has 90% of his net worth in crypto, but within crypto, and definitely figured out that I'm not a great day trader and I'm not good at that timing the market, but I've done pretty well picking longer term winners and longer term patterns in the market. I started my website, thelatestblock.com, last year, and it has a crypto news engine plus my blog. Thank you. Yeah, right there. So it's got two parts. One kind of pulls the crypto news from around the world, so you can just see it in one place. And then the second is my blog, where myself and about 4 other writers provide insights in different areas in crypto, NFTs, or the broader market. So
Interesting.
Yeah, thanks. That's what I do, and that's my website. And then also I'm with a group called Quantum Economics, where we provide analysis, market analysis, and content for clients in the crypto industry. So like you, I spend a lot of time on Twitter and creating content creator on those platforms, as well as obviously bantering back and forth on Twitter, etc.
Interesting. So with getting what? Okay, well, with getting into crypto pretty early, I guess you had a lot of time in the market, which basically beats timing the market.
Mhm.
If you say you're a 90% conservative, what do you mean by that? Do you only go with Bitcoin, or what other cryptos do
I think
you?
Bitcoin is my largest holding at this point. I also have Ethereum, and then you know, Matic, Polkadot,
Mhm.
Nexo. Trying to think what else. I have some XRP, a few other Pancake Swap,
Yeah.
but mostly Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I guess Nexo by accident because I got it much cheaper than even now, even though it's crashed quite a bit. It's still I got it somewhere.
Yeah, everything is kind of crashing
Yeah,
to the date, and I think the Dow Jones just made a, like, based on my random lines, the
yeah,
Dow Jones made a new lower low,
yeah,
and I saw a guy on Twitter posting earlier that when the SPX in 2008, where's 2008?
yeah,
Yeah, like in 2008, it just crashed after it made a new lower low.
yeah,
So,
yeah. It's not
and
looking
with all
good
that,
in any market around the world. The Dow is the best looking of the three American indexes. Like the Nasdaq, I think is down 36% this year, something like that. So, um, and the S&P 500 is officially in a bear market, and I think the Dow, yeah, is not quite yet in a bear market.
yeah. Also, the whole crypto market is everything is just going down, and that, well, we kind of knew would happen at some point, but still it sucks.
Yeah,
So,
it does suck. I did
um,
predict it would drop 20 to 40%, but at the beginning of the year, but that was too conservative. I think Bitcoin is down over 60% um, from
what
my
do you think? Where will the Bitcoin bottom be?
look. It's hard to predict the short term bottom, which is why I was wrong. I did think it was around 28,000. So obviously I was
Hmm.
wrong. So look, we're at a point of very strong resistance. It's the last all time high from the previous bull market. So
Yeah, that's where we currently are.
yeah, if it crashes below 1920, I think the psychological point will cause a lot of people to sell. By a lot of people, I'm referring to Bitcoin miners who are still in a lot of profit um,
Hmm.
at this point. But if the price goes down lower, I think you're going to see a lot more miners shutting off, a lot of capitulation. So that's kind of the downside. Personally, I think we're near the end of the bleeding, but I thought that after the Luna incident and after that crash down to 30. So I
Yeah,
was correct about that.
yeah. Let's pray that the other stable coins in Tether and USDC, that they hold their peg, because even though there's a lot of fishy things going on with Tether, that it's still one of the most traded coins in crypto, and a lot of people hold their money there. So if that would crash, it would hurt the whole crypto space
For
tremendously.
sure. Yeah, and the point Marty Greenspan, who's the CEO of Quantum Economics, made, I think yesterday in the newsletter, in this bear market, the projects that survive are going to have enough capital and enough willpower to survive, right? So it's tough.
Hmm.
A lot of which kind of applies to Hex as well as Celsius and everything else. Uh, any business that deals with Bitcoin right now too. Um,
Well, there's a big difference between Celsius and Hex, but the strong
well,
should and will survive.
yeah.
Oops.
Well, the thing which is the same though, right, is that we're in a bear market, um, and
Hmm.
um, what well, my point wasn't even to compare them, but you have like essentially um, as individual traders who speculate, right? An important factor is um, to minimize risk, or not minimize, but kind of measure risk, right?
Hmm.
So if the market's going great and I put $1,000 into some shit coin that goes to zero, but I'm up 40% and everything else, I'm okay, right? I'm pretty happy. But if everything's
Yes.
down 60%, there becomes a point where it's like everywhere. is risk, right? So anything that's leveraged, even Bitcoin is in trouble. Anything that's, even even having your money in Celsius or BlockFi, even though BlockFi and Nexo are very adamant that they're conservative, maybe it's true, but in actual fact, your money is with someone else who you don't know all their risks.
Exactly, not your keys, not your crypto.
Exactly.
And let's take that as entrance to the HEX ecosystem. In a HEX, we hold our own keys. There's very little ways where you can get HEX without holding your keys, but more on that later. Because HEX is only 2 years old, it got created at the end of 2019, yes. So with it launched at the bear market. That's why the chart is so nice. It made from the bottom to the all-time high. It made over 10,000x. And if you use the staking function, which is not, a decentralized trustless function, which means the HEX smart contract is a immutable contract. So neither the creator or any other user on the blockchain can ever change the functions of the smart contract. So far, it has 100% flawless operational uptime, and it does what it's supposed to do, which is to give new inflation to its stakers. All right. We kind of got against each other when you were saying that you would never invest in HEX because of a tweet where it was the Church of HEX, with 140 replies, 100 likes. And basically all the Hexicans who, like, we're a very active community on Twitter.
I see that.
And there's countless of comments on that. And thank you very much for agreeing to this open discussion, because I think
Twitter likes when we argue.
just you see, I think the whole crypto space is so new, like 13 years of Bitcoin. Yes, Bitcoin exists since 13 years, but let's be real, how many people are in the whole system since then? And even though who held all the way, like even if you bought it at $2 or $3, it is very hard to hold it all the way down, all the way up, not only to the all-time highs, but over the time, because like we said earlier, time in the market beats timing the market. And I think a lot of people also got flooded out and lost a lot of money, but those who hold got rewarded very big. And that is the behind, like the underlying function of the HEX contract, because it is rewarding its users for holding. So the longer you hold your HEX, or the longer you stake your HEX, the more new coins you get. With Bitcoin, the newly minted inflation by the miners will go to centralized mining pools, which there's only 5, and those will dump the coins once you said, a lot of miners are still in profit, but at some point it's just not affordable for them anymore, and they have to sell it. I remember when I'm very new to crypto.
I'd never heard that before. I'd like to see that.
I'm not sure where I could find the source on the quick, but I'm pretty sure there's not many mining pools.
There's definitely large mining pools. That's true.
And also, don't get me wrong. I think Bitcoin is, because it was the first crypto and it's like the mother of cryptos. I think there will always be a place for it. I don't, even though with all the FUD at the time, I don't see Bitcoin going to zero. I can imagine Bitcoin taking very long time to go back up. Or even spend a lot of time sideways. But in the end, I think Bitcoin is here to stay, and that's great. Please.
Bitcoin wasn't the first crypto. Bitcoin was the first crypto to take off, right? There's been various failed attempts at digital currencies or, a proof of work peer-to-peer currency since the mid-90s.
Okay, interesting. I didn't know that.
You can Google Nick Szabo, Szabo. I think Adam Back, who's one of the main Bitcoin bulls and programmers, I think he actually had his own failed one before.
Yeah.
eCash, Digital Gold, I think was the name of another one. Bit something. There's attempts at it. Bitcoin was obviously the first kind of the cryptocurrency that achieved broad usage, right? And I just want to clarify that because it has the first mover advantage, as you said. But some people said, well, it wasn't the first necessarily, or it was the first, and compared it to Blockbuster or Internet Explorer or something. I mean, Netscape. But anyway, that. There were a series of attempts at creating something that never, became popular, essentially. It does seem like Bitcoin figured out, and again, I'm not the world's greatest expert in history, but it seems like it figured out a system to incentivize the miners to secure the network, where the other systems seem to be like a good idea, but they didn't really have that participation factor of a reason to help secure the network.
Yes, and I think over the time, like Bitcoin is the next evolutionary step of money, or not only Bitcoin but crypto. And even though Bitcoin is great, I still there's no real development on Bitcoin. It's not improving as much and as quick as other coins can or do, and that's why I think there will be a place for Bitcoin, but in the end, other coins will strongly defeat Bitcoin just because they have a fresher technology and a better mindset, faster block time, cheaper fees, better tokenomics, better game theory, better everything, and it will just take time for people to understand because crypto is very complicated and very complex, and especially if you're only on Etherscan, like figuring out transactions and doing all that or executing a smart contract through the Etherscan website, it's not easy, and if you do a mistake, your money could be gone. So crypto in general still needs time.
Yeah, that's true. I do have a counterpoint on that, but I think you're not finished, so go ahead.
No, actually, I'm finished. I would let you
let me answer
say your counterpoint, and then I would go into the HEX smart contract and explain how it works.
I think in terms of the layer one, like Bitcoin itself, there's not much development. I agree with that. But there's also development in terms of usage on the Lightning Network, which again, like the rest of crypto, is still at a point of the user experience is not ideal, right? I do see it significantly on the Lightning Network, which and then with protocols like Stacks and Sovereign that are building DeFi using, essentially as a side chain on Bitcoin instead of changing the base layer. So that's not
with Lightning Network. It is like the Lightning Network itself does not get more money into the Bitcoin ecosystem, and it does not create buy pressure for the Bitcoin price to go up.
That's true, and my point wasn't on price action. It was simply you mentioned it wasn't development, wasn't.
Yeah, good point.
There are some people that are old-term Bitcoiners that disagree with me, but I'm not a Bitcoin maximalist. I think that Stacks, what Stacks is doing, they're very well funded. I think they raised $500 million or something, or $800 million anyway, and they're basically seeking to take every innovation that's being built on other blockchains and essentially funding projects to implement those innovations with the Bitcoin network, right? From a sidechain perspective, like you said, it's not on the network itself.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so that's just my point on that. So let's get into HEX.
Yeah. Okay. So like I said a few minutes ago, HEX is a immutable smart contract on Ethereum. And there is a lot of game theory to the coin, which makes it very interesting. Other than that, it has a great product market fit, and like there's different reasons why people are in crypto. But to be honest, I'm here because I would like to get rich. I would like to build wealth, and with like I have finished school. I have like I was in. I made a training. Sorry, I don't know the English word. I'm not a native English, but like I took 3 years where you like learn the job, and then I'm working since 7 years,
Cool.
and it kind of got me to realize that if I keep working, like I was building houses, I was working for museums and stuff. It was fun work, but I would never be able to be rich. Like I only got 1,300 euros per month. Then the older I got a little bit more, but still, like if I live alone in a very small apartment, it would be okay. But I like the chances of me buying a house, buying a car, having a family, having kids, it just getting smaller and smaller. And that got me really frustrated. And so I kept searching. And in the end, I ended up with HEX because HEX is like the design of HEX is designed around to appreciate in value. Basically, the only purpose it has is to make people rich. And it has a lot of functions built into the smart contract that help doing this. Also, it is one of the most transparent cryptos I have found so far. I think Bitcoin is very hard to use. The blockchain itself is hard to use, and if you keep the coins on exchanges, it's basically not your money. Ethereum has also big problems because, like, back a year or 13, 14 month ago when I started, one transaction, like I paid for one transaction over $140 on Ethereum, and that was not sustainable. And even now, I think if you made a normal ERC20 purchase, it's like $15 to $20. That's for people who know what they get, it's fine, but it will never onboard more users. And crypto can only succeed if more users are onboarded, because that's the whole point. With the Bitcoin blockchain, you have a blockchain that is very slow, is not getting updated, and which with very, very high transaction fees. The whole underlying structure of being open all day long, you can do transaction over the whole globe at any time. That's great, but all the other cryptos can also do it and can do that better. And let's compare, like we have a lot of, like I said, or like you have already noticed, we have a very big community and we're very active. So we have a lot of people who in the last couple of years have designed a lot of websites for HEX. So this, for example, is look into hex.com. I've linked all the websites in the video description. Thank you to the creators of this. So here you can see the HEX price in percentage gains and compare that from launch to Ethereum and Bitcoin. And as you can see, like, well, right now we're in a bear market, and comparing the timing, like HEX launched at the somewhere here when Bitcoin was in this let's say cup, and then it took all the profits from the bull market and shot up like here 10,000x. That is not the only thing that it had done. It also we have something that is called shares, and the share system is saying that if you lock it, it's basically like a CD at the bank, but with actual with interest rates. Like then the Fed raised interest rates, so now they are at what 3%? I'm not exactly sure, but they're slowly raising interest rates.
It's about 1.7 right now, 1.7, but they
1.7
to about that.
All right. So, like with HEX, I'm getting like from the CD where I get 20% more every year. That's also with HEX. This is the website where you can stake, and you get 20% for every. Oh well, I already said that. Sorry. The maximum stake length is 15 years, and the system has a basic inflation of 3.69%. The inflation which it's generated is then paid back to the people who stake, and that's only about 10% of all coins, and those coins are the only ones who receive more coins. If you only want to hold the coin, that's also possible. Just like you can buy it on Uniswap and don't stake it at all if you don't want to use the smart contract. The great thing is that HEX is the first crypto that has decentralized trustless yield, and even Muslims have and please correct me if you know it better.
Law, there's rules against lending at interest, correct?
Yes, and because of the way how HEX works, it is not interest, but it is yield, and Muslims are allowed to have yield, so we can call that, which
well, that's a plus.
Great.
I've got a few counterpoints, but I want to let you finish.
We have.
You're doing a great job. You're covering a lot. Yeah.
Thank you. It's just that we have so much information about the coin. We are the first market or the first coin with a future market supply. So because we have the staker class and they stake their coins, and on their coins they gain yield. And because every address or every user can decide how long they want to stake, like the minimum amount is 1 day. So if you wanted, you could do it 1 day. And because of that, we already know when new HEX is hitting the open market. Let me quickly show you where you can see it. It is on this website. Why don't you say some of your counterpoints?
Thanks for that, and I get that, and I actually did learn a few more things about HEX. Okay, so two things. First of all, this applies to Bitcoin, XRP. I could probably find 100 cryptocurrencies with very passionate communities that composed of people that had success with that crypto, and they have technological points that are advancements. I'm a fan of innovation and the best technology winning. That being said, right now, the markets view crypto as a risk asset, right? So if a project, separate to HEX, but if a project depends on onboarding new users, early adopters, staking for a long time, etc., and that's its main use case is to make money, it's going to perform well in a bull market, and it's going to perform badly in a bear market, and it's going to be more susceptible to market risks like what we're seeing now. Now into HEX specifically, obviously not everyone's doing the same amount, but staking for a 40% yield is simply unsustainable. I understand that's not all of HEX, it's PulseX, but it's closely connected. The biggest
No,
problem
that's something
is Terra.
different.
Okay,
The
but
PulseX has completely nothing to do with HEX.
okay, fine. But
It's a,
the thing you just showed me was 43% yield, correct?
yes, that is HEX. And
Okay, good. So just forget PulseX, so just HEX. Um,
yes,
so Terra Luna, 75% of its tokens locked. I believe that's the number I heard in this protocol, and that 20% yield was unsustainable in essentially when the market started to go down, right? So I can't ever see how 43% is sustainable if 20% is not. The second thing is that, anyway, let me finish my points, but
yes,
I understand you don't agree, which is fine. It's a free market, so I don't have to be right. That's just my point, right? My opinion. Even Celsius, which is offering like 10% yield, 8% yield, was gambling on DeFi projects, essentially that have the bear market pressure, right? So they over leveraged themselves, took on too much risk, and now they essentially have, at best, near insolvency issues, and at worst, are insolvent, right?
well, yeah, because they back their coins with other cryptos, right?
Exactly, yeah. So essentially, it's a volatile system, and I think all of us in crypto understand that we're in a volatile system. If we don't, we're in trouble, right? If I was 65 years old, I probably wouldn't have a lot of my money in crypto, but I'm young like you, and we're completely wrong. We can still work and we can become a millionaire, after going bankrupt, right? So we've got lots of time. So I think the risk, kind of willingness to take on risk is part of the game. And I think hopefully everyone in Bitcoin and in HEX, hopefully we all realize that, because if we don't, then people are going to get upset. Like that, some of the people in Luna, right? This gentleman that showed up at the guy's door, like I had $3 million in my retirement, and it's gone now. Obviously he over leveraged himself, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
in all seriousness, the yield percentage to me and the stated purpose of essentially making money, I do not see that. I don't want to say Ponzi because I said that, and that's probably the wrong word, because a Ponzi is a specific thing. So I would say an unsustainable business model.
Yeah, a
Also,
Ponzi.
it requires you
Yeah,
to stake for 15 years. Honestly, I wouldn't trust a U.S. bond with that, and the U.S. has paid their debts for 220 years, right? So and they have legally the right to print more money to pay your debt. So that's the only other system I know, and even that is, to me, that as I mentioned, I'm conservative, right? So it's uncomfortable having that much, whether it's a decentralized protocol locking me away, or a business or a country. That's a long time. So anyway, sorry, go on with your counterpoint.
yeah. So great points. The difference between something like Luna or Celsius, who buy other coins to then back their own stable coin, is that HEX is a closed system in itself.
Luna wasn't supposed to do that. They did that as a last effort as the house was burning down.
Then bought Bitcoin, which got shorted, and then the whole system crashed. And with HEX, it so there's multiple functions on how you can get your additional coins or your part of the inflation, and it is based like if the number, like let's say the more people stake their HEX, the less inflation they get, and you can see this in this chart. If you are the only staker in the whole system, you would get 369% of which is the whole inflation of the whole, like there's the maximum amount of coins, and you would of the newly, like, because it has an inflation of 3.69%, and if you were the only one, you would get all of that.
Right.
So for now, there's only like 10% of the coins are staked, and that's why we have an average of 36 or 37, 38. It's different for some people because of reasons I'll come. Let's say that 90% of the coins are staked. That would lead to you only getting 4% more. And if everyone would be staked, then every year there is new coins just because of the inflation. And if everybody would be staked, only 3.69% would be your percentage gain.
Okay.
So, but there's a different way how you can accumulate that, and that is through the daily payout from a T-share. A T-share is basically a money printer, and it has a... Okay, let me try from the other side. Let's say you stake your HEX for 10 days. Then after those 10 days, you would have more HEX than you started with. The smart contract looks at your address and sees, hey, you just ended your stake, and by that definition, you will never get the chance again to buy the same amount of money printers with the same amount of HEX. So it adjusts the value proposition of the T-share so that you can never buy cheaper. So by that, we have a chart that is hard to believe, but yet true. Where is it? It is lost. Where I am. Okay, let me add. No, I don't want to connect. I just want to view the charts. Okay, the blue line is the... No, this blue line is the T-share rate. So you can buy the T-share only with HEX. And like you can see, it was 10,756 on the 9th of September of 2020. And it went up all the way. And the beautiful thing is that the longer you are, the higher those prices get. Look here, it's over 20,000, and right now it is at 22,000. What is it? 784 or something. So if you bought your T-shares back here, not the price, because the price of the HEX, like the price where you can buy it on Uniswap, went obviously down because of the bear market, but the share rate in which you can get new HEX is always increasing. So by that we have a chart which is having a only net positive growth rate, and it is technically impossible for that to go down.
Well, there's nothing
No, you're going
to go down in the universe. But I just want to point out there's a basic difference between Bitcoin and there's a few other cryptocurrencies that share this. Not absolutely, but there's some perceived value of scarcity increasing the value of an asset, right?
Yes, that's the thought behind it, to increase the value constantly, and by we know that the T-share rate can never go down.
Yeah. So I mean it can go down, but one of the directions is supply, right? There's of course buying pressure, demand, right? And buying pressure and selling pressure. But this to me shows that there's just a lot of inflation in the system. The yield is great, but if the asset which is receiving yield is decreasing in value, the yield becomes either worth less or essentially negative. So that's in any crypto, including Bitcoin, right? But all I'm saying is that there's kind of a scheduled deflationary, disinflationary force in some assets like BNB or Ethereum or Bitcoin.
Yes, and BNB, they burn their coins whenever they feel like it.
Yeah,
that's nothing I can rely on.
Yeah, well, all I'm saying is that that's decreasing the supply is one of the factors. It's not the only factor on increasing value. This is
And if you stake HEX, then the supply the amount of coins that you stake, these coins will get burned, and by this reducing the supply, which then if the demand stays the same, the price would go up, and they will be recreated once your stake ends. And the smart contract has 100% working uptime, so which means it has worked 100%.
Right. Oh, well, I'll leave this. I know we're running out of time. You've done an excellent job presenting, so agree to disagree. Just from a purely speculation and money-making perspective, somebody brought an interesting graphic to me, which I had not looked, and I've looked a little bit at now, and I invite you to look at it. But just want to go back to the chart. He pointed out that there was, and I don't know if this is absolute zero, but there were no major cryptocurrencies that, if you take like the 4-year cycles, the bull and the bear cycles, 2013, 2017, 2021, and I think BNB is an outlier in this, but there were 0 cryptocurrencies that achieved a higher peak against Bitcoin in their second major cycle versus the first major cycle. So I think that when I look at that chart, that looks extremely bearish to me, right? Ethereum, which is one of the most, obviously second largest crypto, and also in terms of adoption, stable coins, institutional adoption, probably the most, has the most going for it in the crypto universe, did not even reach its peak from 2018 versus Bitcoin.
You mean Ethereum compared to Bitcoin?
Yeah, like not compared to USD, just every crypto versus Bitcoin. Its first, kind of market cycle, which I guess 2017, 2018 peak, and then the second one, 2021. It's really 2016. It was really 4 years, but you can look in CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko. But the Ethereum did not reach its initial peak, and then that was one of the better ones. If you look at most of the other cryptocurrencies that were around in 2016, 2017, they were significantly down from their first peak. So obviously we don't know what's going to happen, but there will, I'm sure, one day be a crypto that breaks that trend. And I think BNB is an outlier. So, but most cryptocurrencies, and by most, I mean like I haven't seen any others other than BNB. Like their second peak versus Bitcoin is lower than their first.
Their second peak is lower than their first.
Is that Ethereum? I can't see.
That is Ethereum to Bitcoin.
Yeah, so that's my point. So their second market cycle did not outperform.
But wait, that is Ethereum to Bitcoin and not Bitcoin to Ethereum, because Ethereum always outperformed Bitcoin.
No, it didn't.
Ethereum, pretty sure it did.
I mean, in the bull cycle, it does. In the bear market, Bitcoin outperforms else. But yeah, it's Ethereum to Bitcoin, not Ethereum versus USD.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, check it out. It's a long research. Just that's my closing argument. Agree to disagree. I wish everyone luck in crypto. Wish you luck, and happy to have a respectful debate anytime.
Yeah, like I said, it's like we're so new in crypto, and there's so much infighting going on, especially in a bear market, and like
true.
There's always new technology coming out, and as sad as it sounds, I'm sure that at one point there might be something that is better than HEX, better than Bitcoin, better than Ethereum. For me, I think that HEX is already better than Bitcoin, but like I want to say that we as crypto community, not as HEX community or as Bitcoin maxis or as whatever, the crypto community needs to work together, and if we want this to succeed, and that's the ultimate goal, because if we onboard new users to crypto in general, that will eventually save the world, because fix the money, fix the world, and crypto by its decentralization and by the way it functions has a chance to do that, and that's important.
Well, I appreciate your time, man.
Thank you very much for joining, and goodbye.
Okay. Good luck.